So one of the things I'm not super convinced so far with the blueprints that I'm doing it right or not doing it right. I'm not sure yet. So we will see. But I'm definitely thinking that when we put together this guy, we're gonna need. We should actually do it properly. That's what it sounds like. So let's write it down real quick. We're gonna want to create a default AI group, and we're gonna need a few states for them. We're gonna need a try to find jump thing to jump to. We're going to need a jump state. We're going to need a wander state. We're going to need a dig state, and we're going to need a idle state. So that's what we'll be working on. So I'll be here just munching on my breakfast here, thinking about exactly what I need to do. So, of course, if there are any questions or anything else, do that. So I guess we'll actually get back to work here. So let's see what we got. So of course the first thing that we need to do is we need to just create a fat sack that does nothing. That should be simple enough, right? And let's put him in a little cage. Let's make fat sack and let's throw him in a little cage for him. So yeah, so he can't go anywhere, you know. Just in case he gets any ideas, you know. We can't have fat sack getting uppity. Ah. Yeah, fat sack, too bad. So he's not going anywhere. So let's take a look at him real quick. So his movement controller, we just want to have like the default movement controller. And his logic controller should be none as well. And we need to go make his logic controller. So when we boot him up here, he should be just standing there playing his idle animation. Let's lower this down a little bit. Alright, so he's not doing anything. What is this object? This is a data-only blueprint based on Dashkin fat sack movement. Alright, so it's kind of where we want to put all this sort of stuff. So we had the idle and kind of the flee logic states. So this is a standard logic state group, and then these are logic states. Just the standard AI, and then we need 2 logic states here. Standard and... Alright, so these are logic states. Logic states are things. So what we need to actually do is make actual states. The states that we have right now in here are garbage. So we're going to call this like... We need to just get rid of these 2 things. Let's make this, and it's going to be a logic state. I want to call this fat sack idle. And we want fat sack. Actually, let's delete these things. Let's copy what we already have for gameplay for player, for this player idle state. So we have, you know, something basic here. So why don't we actually make like gameplay? Let's make a widgets folder, and inside of this we're actually going to take some of these guys, and we're going to copy kind of this clean initialization thing, and it's going to be like whenever you have a logic state, you're going to clone this thing, and it's going to be like clean logic state. And the idea is you'll copy this one, and it'll have like the basic stuff already hooked up for you. So when you pop this thing open, it's going to have like your initialize, your updates, and your others just like ready to go for you. So when you pop it open, it'll just be, you know, something useful, is the idea. But let's not go too far into the rabbit hole to start with here. So this is going to be our fat sack idle. Wow, it just has to do all those operations. Alright, this one is going to be the... I've got this list open, and whenever I click on something, it changes all the things, and I'm just like, this is going to be fat sack. Jump. I know fat sack's not going to be like roaming around jumping up on platforms and stuff like that, but we can hope. Let's have a wander, fat sack wander. And let's have a fat sack dig. How's it going, Adam? It's like super early in the morning for you, isn't it? Alright, so now we've got our states hooked up here. we should be able to add these things to our AI. So we want like our fat sack idle, we want our fat sack dig, our fat sack jump, and our fat sack wander. We can, and our default state is going to be fat sack idle. And call this the standard group for fat sack, and we're just gonna, actually we'll just call it default for him. Just delivered the bobs. Awesome. Yeah, we were just going through, I am just learning, you know, as the stream title suggests now, baby's first blueprints. Well, thank you Adam, for the most generous cheer. Back on top, I see, with the highest cheer of all time. Your continued support to the channel is just, well, I can actually put it in dollar value. It's 18 cents, so you are by far valuable. The cheeriest, indeed. Yeah, so much hype. So we've got that rigged up, and we need to make sure that our actual fat sack dude, our entity proxy, is hooked up to use the right logic controller. So we need to make a logic controller for fat sack, and that's logic controller. Is it logic object? I believe it is. So we want to base it off of the Dashkin logic object. This will do fat sack AI. So now when I go to my logic controller, I can assign it right here. And inside of the fat sack AI, I need to set data here. So I need to say the Dashkin logic state group. No, I need the state groups for this guy. So I actually have to override. I can't just have a fat sack standard thing here. In data, I actually have to create a blueprint with this data on it. I can't just make an asset. That's, what the fuck? That's stupid. Yellow green-eyed invaders turn up today? Oh, is that a reference to some birds or something? Or some sort of wild dogs or whatever the hell exists in Australia that causes mischief and mayhem? Fat sack toys. Alright. Nice. So, I am confused here. So, inside of my fat sack entity proxy here, which entity proxy data is supposed to take a T subclass of logic controller, but we can't actually take a logic controller asset. We have to take something that's a subclass of it. So it's like saying there's no either or here. It has to be a blueprint. Or something that derives off of that base object. It can't be the base object, which is silly. So we actually have to create a blueprint here, and we have to derive it off of the logic state group. And we're gonna have to call it fat sack standard AI group. And when we open this up, then we've got like our group type is default, and then we can add our fat sack idle, dig, jump, and wander states, and then we can set the default state there. So now inside of the fat sack AI, I should be able to add the FATSAC standard AI group, and the default group is FATSAC standard AI group. Which is kind of annoying. I'd like to be able to use both, you know, assets like this and then blueprints off of it, but I guess not. Well, we're not going to get super upset about it. We're just going to get a little upset about it. FATSAC logic controller. So you can actually get rid of a few of these things, is what it looks like. FATSAC property logic controller should be the FATSAC AI logic controller. Does that make sense? What is this crappy AI thing? Yeah, I think we just get rid of it. So we're just gonna get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. This is a movement object. I don't think we need a movement object. Fast movement data, flying movement data, slow movement data. I don't know, Adam. Is it safe? I don't use your test maps, so you would know. I would not. FATSAC AI, FATSAC slow movement. We've got all of our movement stuff in there. Materials. I don't know if we're even using this. No actors found. Animations, we got all those. AI. So we need to remove this logic state group. Yeah, stuff that you made, you should be able to go ahead and delete. Just, you know, don't delete the stuff that I made. Which I think the only things that I'm using are the camera test and the movement test map. So the FATSAC AI has one group of states. And then the standard group has 4 actual AI states on it. And then those actual states look like this. So when we boot up this level, let me just see if I actually hit what I think should be hit. Initialize player idle, duplicate player thing ID, on enter of idle state. Let's see. On enter of fat sack idle state call. Alright, so we did enter the state properly. So yeah, we are in our state. So what we're gonna do is let's make sure that we can actually do all the things. So what we should do is we should transition to, we should go from like idle to dig to jump to wander. So maybe we should roll like a random number. How am I liking blueprints? I think blueprints suck so far, but that's just me. Like I had an analogy earlier where I was saying, you know, of course I'm gonna hate everything because I'm used to working with, you know, like a hammer and chisel, and if you gave somebody like a tunnel boring machine, you know, like John Henry or whatever, and you're like, ah, here's a machine to dig a tunnel, he's gonna be all pissed off and hate it. No matter what, no matter how good it is, he's gonna absolutely hate that tunnel boring machine. He's gonna be like, why the hell do I need electricity and lights and like a whole crew of people and all this shit? Like I got a hammer and a chisel, isn't that good enough? Like, get this crap away from me. So I don't know if blueprints are super awesome. I don't know how to use them properly, so I'm gonna hate everything. So I'm just gonna use them anyway. Until I'm not John Henry anymore, and I actually have like an informed opinion about whether the tunnel boring machine is a raft of shit, or if we should just throw a bunch of Chinese immigrants at the wall until we get a tunnel. It's a pretty bad analogy. Yeah, we hate digital tool. So what we want to do is we want to roll some dice here, I think. So let's see. Let's do math, like random. So let's take a random float and let's this should be between 0 and 1. So we want to have like a branch. The condition should be, is there like a multi-branch or something? So basically, we've got, if this thing is less than or equal to, let's say, you know, 0.25, less than or equal to 0.5, and less than or equal to 0.75. Are there any other branches? Any like, there's control loops, there's branches, no, I want to look at these things. Can you like, let me look at that. There's like switches on things, there's get number of entries for each. I don't know what the hell this thing does. Whatever. Alright, so I need to call a function here. I need to... This is a state. We want to transition to the next state in our group. And so that's going to be like... If we go through these states, this is the idle state, and I want to see the class defaults over here. This is player idle, the state type is idle, this is not player idle, this should be fatsack idle. This should be fatsack dig. And the state type, we're going to call it a custom state. This will be fatsack jump. I'm going to make it a custom state as well. And fatsack wander. And it's going to be a custom state. So what we want to do is, it's not like a compile all sort of thing, so I don't have to do all this crap. But I want to like call next state on this thing. So I'm inside of a logic state. I've got update, can destroy, initialize, all these things. Okay, on the logic object, is that where I have like set next state and all these things? Yeah, so I do not have these configured yet, so I can actually call them. So that's the next thing we have to do, is we have to actually start exposing our stuff here. We have 3 states, so we're just going to do like 33, 66, and then we're just going to have true, basically. Condition is true. So let's go close all these things real quick and get our stuff set up so we can actually start using it. And it looks like we'll also need to, this will be like set current state group. We need to open up the Dashkin logic object. Yeah, throw it off on my other screen too. Alright, so it's going to be like set current state group by name, by type, so we need to call set current state group, and we need to do this by name, by type. We need to fix all the names for all the things. Set next state and group. Alright, that's fine. Get state list. Get state group list. I think we're going to want this sort of thing. Get state list. Get state list for group. By name. And I have to change all these things because blueprints don't allow duplicate names. which is annoying. Save set next state by type, set next state by name, and set next state by type and name. Name, set next state by type in. Alright, cool. So can switch to group, can switch to group, can switch to group, can switch groups. By type, by name. And all these macros just make this C++ crap so much more difficult to read too. It's annoying. Can switch to state, can switch states. This again by name, by type. Because in code you can just call them directly, and if the type matches with the objects you're using, then it just works. But of course, they don't support that. Set can switch. Yeah, okay, so we definitely need. Do we want these to be accessible to the blueprint or not? I mean, if we do, then I should change the names and all that stuff. Yeah, but to be more specific, Adam, I think blueprints are going to be good. I think it's going to be a combination of learning when to use them and when not to use them. Because they do some things real well, which would be allowing you to easily just jump in there, change something, and hit play and all that. It gives you a nice place to just have a whole bunch of trash. But it doesn't look like it's good at some things. And that's also kind of on us to learn the patterns that we need to use, because like the functions that I made there for setting your direction and your movement take a vector, and it's real easy in code to just like declare a vector and say like left is right, you know, left is -1 and right is 1 and up is 1 and down is -1, and you know, just like set it all up like that. But in blueprints, it's actually kind of a pain in the ass. So it's going to be a give and take where we figure out exactly what we should be putting in blueprints, what the interface to and from blueprints, you know, what interface there works best, such as, you know, if a vector didn't work properly, you know, it would have been fine to just say like, oh, turn left and turn right should be functions that you actually can call. And in C++ land, it's like, okay, well, I'll set the wanted direction to left, and that sort of stuff. And it might be easier to do some things in C++ and then just have like widgets and all that sort of stuff. So all our stuff compiled there, so now we should have access to what we're doing. And our logic state should have our logic object, our parent. We actually need to use this a lot though, so say get entity get logic control, and then we want to call set next state by name, and we want to pass in like fatsec dig. Let's not switch now. This will be fatsec jump. This will be fatsec wander. That's handy. You can copy paste stuff across blueprints. And these are initialization events, like, so we get called when we're created, destroyed, entered, exited. So I'm just adding some debugging here just to do so. So if I paste this stuff in here, I don't want to paste the comment box though. So I want to switch to fatsec idle, fatsec jump, fatsec wander. I can't control select something? Or I need to actually click on the thing directly. Alright, makes sense. Now the other question to be is if we can actually like throw all this sort of logic crap that's in a blueprint off into some other blueprint, so like we can make a like a utility thing, like a little do this one blah thing, and have it actually go to a blueprint that's over somewhere else, and then we can all use that. And probably can. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't. So we are currently in jump, so we want to replace jump with dig. Yeah, we probably can, I just don't know how. Otherwise, you'd be like copy pasting exactly like the crap I'm doing right now, except it wouldn't even be anything to replace. So this is idle, dig, and wander, and instead of wander, we want jump. So what this should do is, wait a minute, why are you having trouble? The blueprint self is not a Dashkin logic object. Alright. That works now. But this is also telling me, like, we really want a whole hell of a lot of convenience functions in C++, so we don't have to do these sorts of bullshit things like right here. If I just had set next state by name on the actual logic object, on the logic state itself, I wouldn't have to do this sort of shit. So now what we should have is when we boot this up, Fatsack should be switching states like a madman. And as you can see, wander, idle, jump, dig, wander, dig. He's switching states constantly, as we would expect him to, because he's rolling a random die, and based on that random die, he is switching to a different state. So let's see what we actually had him doing. In the do nothing state, his idle, we had him basically setting his velocity in the movement direction to nothing, and then that was what he was doing. He was trying to play his idle anim. Better call in tonight? Yeah. Yeah, it's like 2 in the morning for you? Yeah, you should go get some sleep. So we're doing nothing basically was just doing nothing, and we had a decision countdown timer for this guy. Okay, if we don't select the top bar of the comment, it doesn't do anything. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, see you later. let's write down our list of notes. We need easy access, convenience functions on all classes which we implement in blueprints. We need easy to clone blueprints, which give us a good starting point for implementing things. Other notes. We need to figure out how to share blueprint logic across blueprints, so we're not copy pasting stuff all over the place. Let me see. I got a message. It's garbage. Alright, so for this idle state, what are we gonna do? We should probably just do what we were doing, which is should try to do nothing, and after enough time has passed of us hanging around, we'll do something instead of nothing. So we should actually make a comment